Hello students, welcome again to the English class. Students, today we'll be doing chapter 4 of your first flight book, that is From the Diary of Anne Frank. Before we start with the chapter, let me give you a brief introduction of Anne Frank. Anneliese Mary Anne Frank was born on 12th June 1929 and she died in 1945. She was a German-born Jewish girl who wrote while in hiding with her family and 4 friends in Amsterdam during the German occupation of the Netherlands in World War II. She developed the habit of writing when she was in Amsterdam. Her family had moved to Amsterdam after the Nazis gained power in Germany, but were trapped when the Nazi occupation extended into the Netherlands. As persecutions means torture, as it was a torture against the Jewish population, increased, so the family went into hiding in July 1942 in hidden rooms in her father Otto Frank's office building. After 2 years in hiding, the group was betrayed. That means this group was cheated. And so they were transported to the concentration camp system where Anne died of typhus in Bergen-Belsen within days of her sister Margaret Frank. Her father Otto, the only survivor of the group, returned to Amsterdam after the war ended to find that a diary had been saved. Convinced that it was a unique record, he took action to have it published in English under the name The Diary of a Young Girl. The diary was given to Anne Frank for her 13th birthday and chronicles the events of her life from 12th June 1942 until its final entry of 1st August 1944. It was eventually translated from its original Dutch into many languages and became one of the world's television and theatrical productions and became one of the world's most widely read books. There have also been several films, television, and theatrical productions, and even an opera based on the diary, described as the work of a mature and insightful mind. The diary provides an intimate examination of daily life under Nazi occupation. Anne Frank has become one of the most renowned and discussed of the Holocaust victims. That means the most destructive victim. So students, what we have got from this whole page is that Anne Frank's parents give her a diary on her 13th birthday. She is very much excited, and she was born on 12th June 1929 in Frankfurt in Germany, and being Jews, the Franks emigrated to Holland in 1933. The Franks went into hiding in an Amsterdam warehouse until they were arrested on the morning of 4th August 1944. Anne and her sister Margaret, they were transported to Bergen-Belsen, a concentration camp near Hanover in Germany, and they died of typhus before the camp was liberated by British troops on 12th April 1945. Anne Frank kept a diary from 12th June 1942 to 1st August 1944. Her father, Otto Frank, who was also the only surviving member of the group, decided to fulfill his daughter's wish and published her diary, which recounted her experience in the concentration camp. So students, this lesson is an excerpt. Excerpt means a small portion which has been taken from the novel Diary of a Young Girl or the Diary of Anne Frank. It is an autobiography that was first published in 1947. In this, Anne expresses her thoughts in a diary which was gifted to her on her 13th birthday. She names the diary Kitty, which she considers as her only true friend. She mentions about her childhood, her family, and a lot other things that she told no one else. So students, let us see, here is one activity. The activity is about if you keep a diary, do you keep a diary? And given below under A are some terms we use to describe a written record of personal experience, and we have to mention it. We have 4 words here. One is the journal, then we have diary, then log and memoirs. These all 4 are the written record of personal experience. Fine. So what you have to do is you have to find out how different these words have their meanings, and this you have to do in the matching, and this will be discussing in our session. Fine. So now let us start with the first page of this chapter. Writing in a diary is a really strange experience for someone like me. Not only because I have never written anything before, but also because it seems to me that later on neither I nor anyone else will be interested in the musings of a 13-year-old schoolgirl. Oh well, it doesn't matter. I feel like writing, and I have an eager, greater need to get all kinds of things off my chest. Off my chest means whatever heaviness that she was carrying, just to lessen that burden that she was carrying in her heart. So she wanted to just keep all those things. She just wanted to lessen her burden which she was carrying in her heart. So here musing means it is a period of reflection or thought. So the author feels that it is strange and unusual for her to write in a diary about her feelings and experience because it was the first time she was doing it. She feels this because she thinks that in the future probably no person would be interested in reading this kind of the story. I mean the young school going girl's past. So she thinks that later even she will not be interested in reading it. But still then she puts her thoughts away and decides that she should write if she feels like doing so. She feels the need to write because there were a lot of thoughts she had been holding on to lately and she needed to get them off her mind. So it is known that writing one's thought acts as a therapy. She makes the decision of writing a diary. Let us come to the next paragraph. Paper has more patience than pupil. I thought of this saying on one of those days when I was feeling a little depressed and was sitting at home with my chin in my hands, bored and listless, wondering whether to stay in or go out. I finally stayed where I was brooding. Yes, paper does have more patience, and since I am not planning to look anyone else read this stiff-backed notebook grandly referred to as diary, unless I should ever find a real friend, it probably won't make a bit of difference. Now I'm back to the point that prompted me to keep a diary in the first place. I don't have a friend. Brooding is when you are engaged in the deep thought, and listless is energyless. So now what the author feels is that the paper has more patience than people. She is comparing the patience and she says that people have low patience because but a piece of paper, although it is a non-living thing, but still it would not refuse anything from absorbing her thoughts. This realization came to her one day when she was feeling more sad and confused than usual. She could not decide whether to stay at home or to go out at that time. But finally she decided to stay at home. She sat being depressed and deep thought. Again, she thought that paper had more patience, and she decided to write everything that came in her mind because she did not intend on making someone read it until she found a real friend. So the author then comes back to the point where she thought of beginning to write a letter, and it is because she is lonely and she has no friend to talk. Now she says, let me put it more clearly, since no one will believe that a 13-year-old girl is completely alone in the world. So she goes on explaining that why she feels the need for a friend. She feels that no one is going to believe that a young girl like her is so alone, which practically she is not, because she has a loving family, near about 30 people that can be called friends, loving aunts, and a good place to stay. So she continues and says, and I have loving parents and a 16-year-old sister, and there are about 30 people I can call friends. I have a family, loving aunts, and a good home. No, on the surface, I seem to have everything, but except my one true friend. All I think about when I am with friends is having a good time. I can't bring myself to talk about anything but ordinary everyday things. We don't seem to be able to get any closer, and that is the problem. Maybe it's my fault that we don't confide in each other. Confide is to tell personal things privately to a person that one trusts. In any case, that is just how things are, and unfortunately, they are not liable to change. This is why I have started the diary. So she says that despite trying very hard, she doesn't have a good time with friends, and they talk about stuff but not real stuff that is actually going on in their lives. So despite trying hard, she is not at all, able to get closer to her friends. She feels that maybe it is her who is not able to trust anyone with her private stuff, that she is not able to come any close to her friends. So she feels that the current situation cannot be changed, and thus she needs to write her feelings in the diary. So, to enhance the image of this long awaited friend in my imagination, I don't want to jot down the facts in this diary the way most people would do, but I want the diary to be my friend, and I am going to call this friend Kitty. Since no one would understand a word of my stories to Kitty if I were to plunge right in, I would better provide a brief sketch of my life, much as I dislike doing so. So, further, the author says, generally, when someone is writing in a diary, they list down all the facts about them in a very formal manner, which the author doesn't want to do. This is because she wanted to give her need for a friend a shape, and thus decides to name the diary as Kitty. Hoping that someone would read her diary one day, she thinks that writing without giving details about the background story would not at all be would be ineffective. So, despite not wanting to do so, she gives brief details about her life. So now students, here will see that she is giving a brief detail of her family. She says, my father, the most adorable father I have ever seen, did not marry my mother until he was 36 and she was 25. My sister Margaret, she was born in Frankfurt in Germany in 1926, and I was born on 12th June 1929. I lived in Frankfurt until I was 4, and my father emigrated to Holland in 1933. My mother went with him to Holland in September, while Margaret and I were sent to Aachen to stay with her grandmother. Margaret went to Holland in December, and I followed in February when I was plunked down. Plunked down means when I was put down on the table as a birthday present for Margaret. Now here she has given a brief detail of all her family, and she says that as soon as she turned 4, she was 4 years old, her father moved to Holland, and after that mother also went in September, and while both the sisters, they were with the grandmother only, and Margaret was also sent to Holland in December and followed by Anne. Then Anne was also sent in February, who was brought as a birthday present for Margaret. So further she says, I started right away at Montessori Nursery School. I stayed there until I was 6, at which time I started in the first form. In the 6th form, my teacher was Mr. Cuperus, the headmistress. At the end of the year, we were both in tears as we said a heartbreaking farewell. In the summer of 1941, Grandma fell ill and had to have an operation, so my birthday passed with little celebration. So Anne says that when she was being sent to Holland, she was sent to Montessori Nursery School, and she had a very good bonding with Mrs. Cuperus, who was the headmistress, and as a teacher in 6th form, who even cried at the time of farewell. And in 1941, the author's birthday could not be celebrated because her grandmother fell ill and underwent an operation. So further she says, grandmother died in January 1942, and no one knows how often I think of her and still love her. This birthday celebration in 1942 was intended to make up for the other, and grandma's candle was lit along with the rest. The 4 of us are still doing well, and that brings me to the present date of 20th June 1942 and the solemn dedication of my diary. She says, unfortunately, her grandmother died in January 1942, and now Anne misses her grandmother more than anyone knows. This year's birthday was to be celebrated with great zeal and enthusiasm so as to compensate for last year's. So she then mentions that her family is doing well, which sums up her background and brings her to the present date of June 20th, 1942, when she is writing her diary. So this is how she proceeds with her diary. It was Saturday, 20th June 1942. She writes, Dearest Kitty, our entire class is quaking in its boots. The reason, of course, is the forthcoming meeting in which the teachers decide who will move up to the next form and who will be kept back. Half the class is making bets. GN and I laugh ourselves silly at the 2 boys behind us, CN and Jacques, who have staked their entire holiday savings on their bet. From morning to night, it's like you're going to pass. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. Even G's pleading glances and my angry outburst can't calm them down. If you ask me, there are so many dummies that about a quarter of the class should be kept back. But teachers are the most unpredictable creatures on earth. So she writes that on June 20th, 1942, Anne begins writing in her diary, addressing it as her friend Kitty. So, addressing it as friend Kitty, she mentions how her entire class is nervous about their results, and it is unpredictable and will be decided by a meeting of teachers in which they will select students to be moved to next class or kept back. So many students in her class, they were making bets. Some had put in their entire summer savings at stake, and she and her friend G also made fun of the boys who were getting nervous. They kept on saying to each other that I am not going to pass, while others would console them and say, yes, you would. G was very much polite as she tried to stop them from making noise. I'm not going to pass, they keep on saying, while others would console them and say, yes, you would. G was polite as she tried to stop them from making noise, while Anne scolded them, but none of it worked. According to Anne, about a quarter of class should be allowed to pass because they hardly respond or take part in any of the activities. She refers to them as dummies, but this may not be the case because teachers' decisions cannot be predicted. Then she says, I'm not so worried about my girlfriends and myself will make it. The only subject I'm not sure about is maths. Anyway, all we can do is wait until then. We keep telling each other not to lose heart. That means not to be discouraged. The author says that she is not at all bothered about her friends because she is sure that they will pass. The only subjects that she is unsure about is mathematics, and she seems to be having a tough time with this subject, but all they could do was wait for the results and not lose their hope. I get along pretty well with all my teachers. There are 9 of them, 7 men and 2 women. Mr. Keesing, the old fogey who teaches maths, was annoyed with me. That means he's an old-fashioned person, and he was annoyed with me for ages because I talked so much. And after several warnings, he assigned me extra homework to write an essay on the subject a chatterbox. A chatterbox, what can you write about that? I would worry about the later, I decided. I jotted down the title in my notebook, tucked it in my bag, and tried to keep quiet. Now she says that she had a good relationships with all the teachers, but leaving the maths professor because he was constantly irritated by author's talkativeness. Author was in the habit of talking too much, so in spite of giving several warnings, Anne would not stop talking in the class, and which prompted the professor to give him extra homework as punishment. The first one was to write an essay on chatterbox, which she thought was a weird topic to write on because what could one write about that? For the moment, she wrote the topic in her notebook, kept it in her bag, and focused on staying quiet. That evening, I had finished the rest of my homework. The notebook about the essay caught my eyes. I began thinking about the subject while chewing the tip of my fountain pen. Anyone could ramble on and leave big spaces between the words, but the trick was to come up with convincing arguments to prove that necessity of talking. And I thought, and suddenly I had an idea. I wrote the 3 pages, and Mr. Keesing had assigned me and was satisfied. I argued that talking is a student's trait and that I would do my best to keep it under control, but that I would never be able to cure myself of the habit since my mother talked as much as I did, if not more, and that there is not much you can do about inherited traits. So now the author says that she came across the note that she made as a reminder for the essay after she had finished the rest of her homework. She began thinking about the topic while chewing the tip of her fountain pen. That was a gesture that signifies a person is in deep thinking. While anyone else could mention random stuff written for the sake of filling pages, she wanted to present some concrete arguments in support of talking. So she mentioned that she will try to better herself as a student, but talking is something which has been inherited. It is an inherited trait which she's got from her mother. So she says talking is something that cannot be eliminated completely because she got it as an inherited trait from her mother, and this is how she ended up writing 3 pages on the topic. Now further, students, next paragraph. Mr. Keesing had a good laugh at my arguments, but when I proceeded to talk my way through the two lessons, he assigned me a second essay, and this time it was supposed to be on an incorrigible chatterbox. That means not able to be changed. I handed it in, and Mr. Keesing had nothing to complain about for two whole lessons. However, during the third lesson, he had finally had enough. And Frank, as a punishment for taking in class, write an essay entitled Quack, 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 said Mistress Chatterbox. So the professor found Anne's arguments to be amusing, but when she did not stop talking in the next lesson also, so he gave her yet another assignment as in punishment. And this time the topic was an incorrigible chatterbox, which refers to a bad habit which is very difficult to change. He gave her this topic because he was annoyed, very much, irritated of her unstoppable chattering habit during his lessons. On receiving this assignment, the professor did not say anything to her for a while, but when he lost his patience, he handed her yet another assignment as punishment of the topic Quack, 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 said Mistress Chatterbox. The class roared. I had to laugh too, though I would nearly exhausted. I had nearly exhausted my ingenuity on the topic of chatterboxes. It was time to come up with something else. Something original. My friend Singh, who is good at poetry, offered to help me write the essay from beginning to end in verse, and I jumped for joy. Mr. Keesing was trying to play a joke on me with this ridiculous subject, but I would make sure the joke was on him. So when the professor scolded her for the third time and punished her, the whole class started laughing. And as a result, she had to pretend to be amused too. After writing twice on the same topic, she was just running out of thoughts. So her friend Sane, who was good at poetry, offered to help her write in poetry in rhymes. This whole assignment scenario was to make Anne feel ashamed, but she made sure that she gave an effective reply. Now for the next paragraph. I finished my poem and it was difficult. It was about a mother duck and a father swan with 3 baby ducklings who were bitten to death by the father because they quacked too much. Luckily, Mr. Keesing took the joke the right way. He read the poem to the class, adding his own comments and to several other classes as well. Since then, I have been allowed to talk and haven't been assigned any extra homework. On the contrary, Mr. Keesing's always making jokes these days. Yours, Anne. And this has been an adaptation from the novel The Diary of a Young Girl. So she finally wrote her third assignment in the form of a poem, which turned out to be great. She wrote a satire that a father swan beat his 3 baby ducklings to the death because of their noisy nature. To her good luck, the professor took it lightly. The professor recited the entire poem in front of the class while giving his own remarks simultaneously. The author, being fortunate enough, talked uninterruptedly after this incident without any further homework as punishment. Also, Mr. Keesing, the professor, started cracking jokes every now and then in front of the class. So, dear students, here we end the chapter, and what we have seen is that this chapter is an extract from the Diary of a Young Girl, which depicts a very touching vision of a young girl who was living happily in a place, but where her life was threatened. She recounts joyful experiences of her family and school life, and she has particularly described how her maths teacher made her write essays on hilarious topics like a chatterbox. So students, now here we end the chapter. Whatever doubts, whatever queries you will be having related to the chapter, that we will be discussing in the virtual session. And before you attend the virtual session, just after going through this video tutorial, just read the chapter once, all of you, from your textbook, and I am for sure that you will definitely like this chapter. Till then, goodbye everyone.